Hello, I'm Bud McCord. I'm here in Brazil, South America. Welcome to Food for Thought, Listening to Jesus. This is our devotional for the 10th of May, 2021. And our subject once again is the realism of Jesus. We're seeing in the Sermon on the Mount in chapter 6 of Matthew that the true challenge for us as believers is to avoid having a divided mind, or having a divided mind that causes us to be unable to rest in our mind, in our emotions, and our will. We've been taught by Jesus that we should love the Lord our God with all of our heart, all of our soul, with all of our mind, and all of our strength. And we should love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And the idea behind all of this is that we exist to love. And Jesus identifies 9 different areas where we cannot rest. And when we cannot rest, the flow of God's love is interrupted in our lives. And so we've been looking at each one of these, and we've been asking ourselves, am I at rest in this area of my life? Can I relax in the presence of God? Is God enough for us? So we're going to continue with those thoughts today. And the words Jesus gives us here are incredibly beautiful, very practical. So let's read what he has to say about one light, one focus, keeping our eyes aimed high on the highest thing that we can imagine, the most beautiful thing that we can imagine. In Matthew chapter 6, verses 22 to 23, Jesus says this: "The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in you is darkness, how great is that darkness?" Stanley Jones, who influenced me so greatly during this study of the Sermon on the Mount many years, he's been influencing me with his thoughts. He coined a phrase, I think it's probably original with him, I'm not sure. He said, whatever gets your attention, gets you. Whatever gets your attention, gets you. I guess that's why advertising works. I guess that's why billboards work. I guess that's why the ads on YouTube work. Whatever gets your attention holds you. That may be for a moment, or it may be for a time and space where you are completely out of sync with who you really are and who you should be. And so the ability to focus on the person of Jesus, which is the highest revelation that's ever been given to humanity, is to come into the light. In John chapter 3, Jesus says to us that he did not come to condemn the world, but he came to save the world. And he said, but men love darkness rather than light because their deeds are evil, and they don't want to come to grips with actually who they are. I think that when he talks here about our eyes being good or bad, that's more determined by what it is we focus on. You know, our eyes are good when we look at the good. Our eyes are good, the light is good when we look at the highest. One of the spiritual disciplines that I've been practicing for many years is at the very beginning of my devotional time, I try to elevate my view toward the highest thing that I know and the most beautiful thing that I know. And that is the person of Jesus. He is the Word who became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have seen his glory. You know, when you can focus your attention on Jesus, I believe he will fill you with light. And when you focus on Jesus, he will cause you to see reality. We've already been talking at length that the greatest problem that we will deal with in our lives is our own inner life. It's how we are on the inside. And so if our eye is good, then we are focusing on that which is good. When we are focusing on Jesus, we just can't go wrong. I remember an illustration that was given to me by a man named Mike Wells. And I've already used this and talked about this before. He said, imagine on your left hand that you have all of your problems and difficulties and trials. Now imagine on your right hand, you have the perfection of Jesus. When you wake up in the morning, you have a choice to make. You can either be focused on the problems or you can be focused on Jesus. And so he taught me this little simple practice. He says, when you wake up in the morning, put your hand over your heart and say, Jesus, you are welcome here. And what that does is it brings Jesus to the focus. And now your eye is good. The problems are still there. Now, what God doesn't want, he doesn't want us to be with a split focus, the divided mind. In very practical terms, we have to decide what the highest and purest and cleanest and most inspiring thing is that we can let into our eyes. And the quality of that which we are looking at will fill us with light, or whatever we're looking at will fill us with darkness. We have to look up. Look up. There's a lot of songs and spiritual songs that are talking about looking up, aiming high, seeing the invisible. There is a direct, continuous impact on your inner life based upon where you are focusing to take into yourself that which brings you rest, inspiration, and guidance. Let me read it again. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, good at what? Good at focusing exactly on the highest thing that has ever happened in this world. And that is in the person of Jesus. Jesus said, and if I am lifted up, I will draw all people to myself. That includes you. That includes me. I need to see Jesus. You say, but I don't know how to see Jesus. Well, I'll give you another little tip. Imagine Jesus multiplying the loaves and fishes. Now imagine that in your imagination, in your mind. Let the light that comes from that beautiful moment when he fed over 5,000 people, let that light flood into you and tell you he will put bread on your table. He will take care of your financial needs. He knows that you're hungry, and he knows that you need a job, and he knows that you need daily provision. Let that light of seeing Jesus being able to multiply and make things plentiful, think on that. Or perhaps you can see him in the scriptures described where he's walking on the water. And the water is a symbol of all of the challenges that come around us and want to drown us, want to take us down. You remember that when Peter wanted to get out of the boat, Jesus called him out and he walked on the water. But what happened when he took his eyes off of Jesus? He began to sink. His eyes were good, and then they weren't. He was seeing Jesus, and he walked over the circumstances that wanted to take him down. But the minute he changed his focus, whatever gets your attention gets you. Is your mind divided between light and darkness? Are there things that you're letting into your eyes that are disturbing your peace, that are disturbing your focus? Then that's what Jesus means when he says, pay attention to that which inspires you to rest. Pay attention to that which inspires you to know the truth. In more simple terms, pay attention to Jesus. God bless you. Have a great day. Lord willing, I'll see you tomorrow.